When multiplying two polynomials together, we want to remember that we need to multiply each term of one polynomial by each term of the second polynomial. So in this case, we want to multiply the 2x by each term of this second polynomial and this -1 to each term of the second polynomial. So let's begin with the 2x. So we'll have 2x times a 4x squared plus a 2x times a 3x, and then plus 2x times a -8. And remember, we want to make sure we're keeping these operations the same. So we have a -8. And then we move on to the -1, and we're going to continue down on this next row. We have a -1 times a 4x squared, and then the -1 times a 3x, and the -1 times a -8. Now let's go through and simplify each of these terms that we now have. So this first term, we have a 2x times a 4x squared. So first we look at the coefficients. So we have 2 times 4, which is 8, and then x to the first times x squared. And remember, if you're multiplying like exponential bases, we add the exponent. So we have x to the 1 plus 2, or x to the third. Then the next term, we have 2x times 3x. So looking at the coefficients, 2 times 3 is 6. X to the first times x to the first is going to give us x squared. Then plus 2x times a -8. Looking at the coefficients again, we have a -16 times an x. Now we have a -1 times 4x squared. So the coefficients of -1 times 4 gives us -4, and we still have that x squared. Then -1 times 3x gives us a -3 and the x. And lastly, we have a -1 times a -8, and a negative times a negative makes a positive, so we have plus 8. Now, we need to notice that we have like terms. So this polynomial needs to be in its simplest form. So we go through and check for any like terms. We notice that there aren't any x to the thirds other than in this first term. So we can leave that first term how it is, so 8x to the third. Then we move on to this 6x squared. And notice that we have another x squared term over here. So we add the coefficients together. So we have 6 minus 4. So that's going to give us a positive 2x squared. And then moving on to this term, we notice that we have an x term, and then we have a second x term down here. So again, adding the coefficients of -16 minus 3, and that's going to give us a -19x. And lastly, we have this constant of a positive 8. So our final answer should be 8x to the third plus 2x squared minus 19x plus 8.